Fixed. All right, so starting back over, my name is Peter Del Tondo. I'm the design director here at Unfold, and today joined by a couple of members of the Unfold team. We're gonna avoid saying a couple of words here on the stream because I've heard there's some issues with YouTube pulling videos that mention certain things, but we know that there's some stuff going on and it's causing some frustrations and concerns with people. Maybe, Dave, I'm going to mute you there for a second, of potentially losing jobs. Clients are backing out of projects, and you might be looking for new work, whether that's a new employer or you're just looking to find some additional freelance work. So, this is going to be a new series that we're going to be doing. We had close to like 150, 200 portfolio submissions. There's no way we can get to all of them today. We've got an hour for today's stream before some other meetings that we need to do. But we're going to set this up a little bit more regularly, and we'll do a couple more live streams where we continue to review your work. So if you didn't yet submit your portfolio, audio is working now? Yeah, okay. If you didn't yet submit your portfolio, go ahead and do that, and we'll add you to the list, and we'll make sure that we get you in a future stream. But today, I am joined by David Kovalev, one of the partners here at Unfold, Victor, any of our other team members that want to hop in. You guys are welcome to jump in the call. I've got the link there in Slack, and hopefully Eddie's going to be joining us soon. I know he mentioned he was laying down before. He's pretty under the weather today, but if he can make it, he will. So let's kind of jump into some stuff, and let's start taking a look at these projects. So I'm going to do the first kind of round here. And basically what we're going to do, we've set up and pulled a few from the forum, and separated this out by kind of levels of designers. And we want to try to hit a little bit of everybody. So we're just going to go kind of junior, mid, senior, director, and we'll make a round. So I'll go first, and then maybe David, you go next. And then we can, make sure that we put you in the driver's seat. It's a little bit easier. So let's first take a look here at Gabriella. I'm going to pull her up, and I'll let a couple of these others. I'll just take the top one in each of these categories. And I know there's a password in this one, which I can't show. So give me 1 second while I copy paste that. There we go. All right. And you guys go ahead and unmute yourselves at any point if you want to jump back in and say anything. All right, cool. And by the way, thank you guys all for tuning in. It looks like we've got about 50 people in here. I see some folks that I see on the list. I know Jao. I'm gonna mess up some names today, so apologize. But Jao Apollinario, I know we've got you queued up. Dennis, Mark Bowden, Andrew Hockrattle. Check out Canceled Con, by the way. Andrew's got that going on, and myself, Eddie, and Dave will be on that as well for the online conference event, since everything is getting canceled. So let's check this out. Let's start off with Gabriella, who is in our junior designer category. And we get to see a couple of projects here. Let me just start opening these all up. I think this is the one that's password protected. Let's throw that in there. Okay, great. So let's take a look here. We've got this legal site, a drop-in legal privacy department for your website. Cool. This all looks really nice and clean. Good presentation. I really appreciate getting this kind of information here where you tell me a little bit about what the project is, what it is that your role was, the scope of the project. So I now know here that you did branding, product design, and worked on the website. And it's great seeing the date, because oftentimes we might see something and go, this is cool, but it looks a little bit old. And we want to be able to, there we go, I got you guys now. We want to be able to go back and kind of have a sense of when this thing was worked on, because it might have been really great and really fresh 2, 3 years ago, maybe less so now, but now we can judge it kind of with that lens. So really, really cool. So coming down here, I get to see your user personas. This is great. Branding, we start to show this. Okay. Sketches, awesome. I love seeing this kind of stuff. There's a lot of value to putting your portfolio and presentation projects like this because I often find that when we just look at the final outcome of something, it's easy to go, I like it, I don't like it, or just you assume that it was kind of an easy solution. But when you get to see the breakdown of something like all of the sketches, all of the thought and the mind maps and flows that go into something, when you put that forward in presentation, there's a lot more value that is provided and seen, and clients can start to understand, hey, I get why this is going to cost more because this person's doing a lot of work to ensure that we have the right solutions. We're not just getting pretty design. Pretty design is really easy to do. Effective design is a lot harder, and so I think that's really cool to have that here. All right, and we've
Hey,
even got.
Peter, real quick, can you share your screen with us on
Oh
this?
yeah, absolutely. Let
So
me.
I have it open. I'm following along. I just wanted to kind of
Yeah, you got the lag
line up.
delay.
Yep. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, got you. Cool. There you go. All right, so we keep coming down here. We've got some videos. The one thing I would say here is I would just love to see some of these mock-ups um, kind of elevated by the presentation. It's cool just to see lots of design, and again, it looks really nice. This looks easy to use. I'd love to be able to expand some of these things. I'd love to see them in situation with some larger mock-ups with like a nice tablet or computer or something like that, just to bring it to life a little bit. But you have a fantastic amount of detail in these case studies. I see here your style guide. Again, it's showing how robust this project was. And this is kind of blurry. Is this a GIF? No. Um, but it's really great. To me, I see this kind of stuff. I'm not something I personally look for in portfolio reviews or in like hiring people is I'm looking for issues in your designs, things like alignments or different type styles. That to me is one of the most immediate, not like direct indicator of a junior designer, but I know if I have to spend time with them fixing and correcting all their mistakes, I don't have time to help elevate the design. And so I'm not catching that in your files. Like, I mean, super nitpicky here, maybe the text here could be a little bit better aligned to the circle, but for the most part, everything here is really solid. So this would allow me to work with you and start to push the design and the user experience because I'm not looking for those kinds of mistakes, which I think is really, really um, awesome. I feel like your work's a little bit ahead of a junior designer, although you might be working on a lot of this stuff with the team, and that's a big part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Let me cut in a little bit, Peter. I also like that there's like just a variety of work, type of work in the process. I feel like there's a lot of that happening. Like on
Mhm.
top, you started off with like some wireframing, some sketches on a whiteboard or wherever that was.
Yep.
So I kind of feel like I'm kind of following down this journey where it kind of shows the whole process and it gets into a lot of nitty gritty. So I think that's what oftentimes makes the sale and gets potential clients to know and to trust you more. You know that you know what you're doing and there's a lot of work that gets put into it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, welcome to Cuckoo, which, by the way, this is a great show on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. It started off with Andy Samberg. If you haven't watched it, and while you're, home quarantining right now, you should watch the first season. It gets worse when the kid from Twilight takes his place, but first season is fantastic. Um, all right, so productivity timer for remote teams, super cool, super relevant right now. So let's take a look at this. Meetings should be fun. Created a tool that allows professionals to time box their activities. Oh my gosh, it's almost like our team started doing something like this in the not so distant past. This is really cool. I think this is great. The illustrations here to me feel like maybe they were brought in from like stock or something. It doesn't totally feel like it gels with the whole project or brand itself. Uh, but overall, I mean, pretty clean work here. I think maybe again creating some more custom stuff or building some things that are a little bit more on brand would be great. And make sure that you're doing some larger or like 2x files here in the portfolio. I'm on like ultra wide monitor. It's not even 4K, and this is super blurry to me, which means on a true Retina display, this is going to be really, really blurry, and it just makes your work present a little bit better. But unless you guys want to say anything else, I think we can move on to another person that we've got here, and we've got Eddie on the call now too. Thanks for joining, bud,
Hey
and
guys.
we can jump into the next one.
Awesome.
All right, but really good work there. Okay, cool. So next in our mid-level category, we have Bella here, and it looks like she is primarily a UI UX designer, and has, some really nice product work here. We're big crypto fans and work in that space a bit, so this is really cool to see. Just trying to pick apart some stuff. It'd be nice to have, it looks like you do, maybe if this isn't logged out, maybe this is like an expanded menu, which opens up and tells me like what these icons are. Some I would understand, some I don't get what they would be, so it'd be nice to have that kind of marker. But the rest of this seems pretty straightforward. Really
Yeah, I'm
nice.
also noticing like a variety of work like on the overall portfolio. So there's like UI work, there's illustration work, there's some branding looks like it. So I feel like there's a lot going on and there's not a whole lot of work. So I would definitely keep posting work and keep expanding whatever you enjoy doing most and
Hmm.
just refining that craft more. If this is like the whole portfolio page.
Yeah. Yeah, I think your work is really nice. I mean, you clearly have some nice animation skills as well. I think this is really cool, maybe showing like the wires to design. This is just a cool way to present work. I think I
Hmm.
didn't get that from this off the bat, but it's really cool. I'm with David. I just want to see more of your work, because I think you've got some really good skills here, and we just need to see more of it. That's
Yeah, and
it.
even if you break it up like into multiple shots, over, you don't have to create a lot of like just different types of shots. So some shots could have like a lot of detail kind of buried inside one shot, but the way Dribble works is like just showing like just bringing some of that out, to the front, just making multiple shots from even if it's one project or a few projects. So, but yeah, overall, it's great work.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say other than just keep doing what you're doing and stack that portfolio. A lot of that work was from like 2019. So I'd love to see some more stuff, posted recently. Okay, so Ethan McDonald, I know Ethan a little bit, and I believe he's somebody that's been directly affected by everything that's going on. So if anyone watching is looking for a rad designer, definitely make sure you hit up Ethan. But he was working on a lot of stuff at Candid. Let me just pull them up in case folks don't know, but they're one of the correct smiles and teeth kind of companies. So while he might not have some of that stuff here on this portfolio, he's been, really integral with that team over the last, I think, like year or so. So definitely check him out. He also worked at Robin, which is a cool scheduling tool, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I've seen these in use before, where essentially they show like a display on the wall with the meeting details, and you can know when a conference room is open or whatnot. So I think that's a really cool tool. It's really important actually at like larger agencies or things like WeWork or what is it, industrial, other facilities like that, to know when a room is available, when can you book it, and things like that. And Robin helps solve those kinds of problems. So coming in here, really cool to make your case study and whatnot interactive here. It looks like we've got a video to check out as well.
Yeah, I like the interaction just throughout the pages, like of the case studies, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of motion happening. There's a video you can play just to kind of get more detail.
Yep.
That's always a good thing to show.
Yeah, and I think this one, like this would be good. I would just say add a timestamp to this project, because I can tell from the mock-ups and things that like this was done for some older devices. And again, I look at this is very clean design. This would have been really exceptional 2, 3 years ago, which is when I'm assuming that this was completed, or maybe even later. But just letting people know that way that when they look at this, they understand what that is. And as I'm seeing here, timestamp 2016. This work's like 4 years old, and this still holds up really well. But just letting folks know that, so that way when they see it, that there's
Yeah,
a
and
good
and
understanding.
also like Peter, to scroll to the top, like I would make that main hero a little bigger, just because it looks so empty, and that app doesn't really it hides a lot of the details. So I would make it
Mhm.
really big, and maybe even cut it off the screen or whatever, just or just a lot bigger, just to get more of that detail, and maybe add some motion in there, if you
Mhm.
want to spice things up. But
Yeah, this whole
yeah,
thing could be bigger and like more details, like what was your
yeah,
role, when was this project completed, etc. But yeah, really,
Yeah.
really good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, a little tiny thing I noticed, scroll up to those iPhone mocks, and this might be really nitpicky, just trying to find something because your work is so great. But I see like those carrier symbols. You have AT&T, and then a couple of these slides, you have the standard sketch carrier name, and it kind of draws you out of that. Like this is supposed to be mock up. This is supposed to show you like what it's supposed to look like, and
Yeah.
it's just a little inconsistent. But I mean, that's just a tiny thing. But you know, it's the little stuff that kind of gets lost. So when you're doing your work, make sure to look at all those tiny things and make sure everything's in order. But
Yeah.
overall, I'm really
Yeah,
digging it.
I have one more thing. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we got
yep,
you, Eddie.
Yeah, yeah. So one other thing that you could do if you have some older pieces of work that you want to still feature, that's you're kind of proud of, you can easily kind of just um, polish it up via presentation, just maybe around those corners on this screens and make a bigger like um, shadow, like the more modern way to present work.
Mhm.
So just like go through this project, you can keep the work, but just like refreshing it via presentation, which will make your visitor appreciate it more. I feel
Yeah,
like.
and that's where like if you were to take like this right here, again, we said make it bigger, like this feels real. It pulls you in. I
Hmm.
immediately get how this is used. Whereas if you just cropped into the screen itself, um, it doesn't have the same impact. So,
Yeah, yeah.
really pull in some of those devices. I know I used to make Photoshop mockups and sell them on Creative Market. They're pretty cheap. I mean, you can get them for some are a lot are free, but you can get some really nice ones and like photorealistic mocks for $5 to $20, depending if it's a pack or something, and it's really worth it. It makes a big difference in the presentation of things. So, I would
and
definitely encourage that.
there's websites like Placeit.net. They offer like where you can actually upload an image and it mocks it up right on the mockup before you even download it, and then it
Mhm.
automatically mocks other mockups. So it gives you a really good idea and variety of things you can grab. But I think that's like a monthly
Yeah.
payment.
And then just tidy that kind of stuff up. But that looks really good. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say I think we're gonna skip off to somebody else here. Again, just due to time, but this looks really great. I think again, it seems like a lot of the work here is older work. And I know we tend to my portfolio is super old. I haven't touched it in like 4 or 5 years, but when we're not looking for work and not looking for jobs, we tend to ignore those things. But it is good to try to keep these up to date. Even if it's posting stuff up to like Dribbble or Behance, that way when those times come, we've got updated work to show. But I can see the talent and capability that you have through this older stuff. Okay, so going into our director level category, I know Peter Tarka, I saw you here in chat. Your work is
Oh
beautiful,
wow,
my friend.
I'm blown
Um,
away.
yeah,
that's
we
awesome.
need to chat later. We might have some projects to collaborate
Hey,
on. This
can
is
can Peter
super cool.
maybe critique our can Peter critique our portfolio?
Sure. Yeah. This is awesome. I know we've been trying to pitch a lot of clients in a little bit of this 3D illustration style too. I think it's really, really fun. I I don't know what to critique here. It's just really good. I think we're just
Mm.
gonna swoon over it for a second, and then we'll maybe move on to somebody else here. But this stuff is fantastic, my friend.
Yeah, and I think like another thing I want to mention is like when a client is browsing through this, I think they know what they're going to get, kind of like the style and the work, the type of work you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for for if you're in the design industry, kind of nailing down your style and just perfecting it and just keep evolving it, but don't just be all over the place, but just kind of hone in on that one style, and people will know you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the second we clicked on his portfolio, it just jumped right out at us, and you instantly knew what you were getting into. Like there's this instant like um I'm looking for a word, like uh, I can't think of the word, but we instantly just saw what we were getting into, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I love about this, and I think you're a great example here, Peter, is you you clearly have a style, a focus, and a specialization. This is a cool project for Google, really nice. What I like about this is I get a sense of who you are. I get a sense of your specialization and your expertise, and I feel like you have a niche focus in this 3D illustration style. And I like that it's not specific to like I only work with, the automotive industry or the gaming industry or tech or whatnot. Like you apply that uniquely to everybody. And that's where I feel like it opens up a lot of opportunity for you. But like Victor said, I come here to your portfolio. I know exactly what I can expect from you and what I would be hiring you to do. And your work is phenomenal. I don't have anything else to say. All right, cool. With that, why don't I sent this link in Slack to you guys? So I'm gonna mark these as reviewed. Maybe Eddie or David, you guys want to pull up the next in each of these categories, and then I'll switch to your screen. You can screen share, and that way you're in the driver's seat, and we'll let you guys go through as well.
Sure thing. I can start.
Cool. And then maybe Eddie, while he's doing that, you want to get the third person, and Vic, you can pull the fourth person in each.
Hey, did you want to? It's saying that. Oh, can you unshare your screen, Peter?
Oh yeah, I gotcha. And while we're doing that, everybody, as I mentioned, we had like 150 something submissions for these. We've got 35 minutes, 36 minutes left on this stream before we've got to cut into another meeting. But let me fit this to my screen. What we will be doing is we're going to do a couple more of these streams as well for you all. So, and then David, would you hit the left arrow on Monday so we hide some stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
You got it.
We're going to be doing more of these streams to make sure that we get through this list because this is really, really important to help everybody out and just, kind of feed into the community right now, help ensure you guys are putting your best foot forward and doing the best work. So we'll be doing more of these streams.
All right, so we're doing one from each category, Peter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, we can start here. Dennis, most of us know him, just a buddy of ours, but he submitted his work as well. But yeah, we can all critique it. I'm pretty sure he's listening in right now, so I think I'll start, and whoever wants to chime in, feel free. I think overall his work is great. It's very simple. There's a lot of simplicity into it, and just very clean overall. You know exactly what his craft is right off the bat. I like the use of colors, the use of simplicity, and everything just feels very polished and modern. Just overall reaction here. So, and I do know, like when you see these icons on Dribble, that means there's more to it. So it's not, there's more of a case study behind each of these, and we can go through a few of these here. So I feel like it's a pretty clean style, very colorful, and it's got I think just having more, more of this. I see Dennis here using just the logo kind of for the most part instead of showing mocks and other items here, which I think is fine. But I do notice sometimes you do break out of your box here, like show some sort of sketches, maybe some sort of mock-ups. I would probably do a little more of that just to kind of show more variety of the different brands, like just on your portfolio, like Dribble portfolio overall. But yeah, overall, I think it looks good. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
it
Anybody?
really
really good
pulls you
stuff
in.
for
Yeah.
yeah I'm guessing a lot of people wouldn't know his age. I want to throw that out there. For his age, he's doing really, really well. And
Well,
by the
how
time
old
his beard
is he?
grows, huh?
How old is he?
I think he's like what,
I want to say
16,
18,
or 18.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Around he's in the teens.
I
So
wish I could do this at 18. That wasn't happening. But I think as David mentioned, like that Red Bull one right there, that really calls out to me, or Origin to the side, where I get to see some of the grid composure. I want to see it mocked up because so many times we're just having this conversation with somebody where, hey, a logo is cool or it's pretty or whatnot, but we don't get to see how it works as a brand yet and what that brand system can be. So when you start applying it to things, that's how you sell concepts to clients. You don't just show them a logo in black or white and color and say, here, this is it, let's go. You've got to show it in different use cases and whatnot, and that's what takes it over the finish line. And I think that's something that if you can present and
yeah.
showcase that a little bit more, will be really helpful and eye-catching to people.
And I
Yeah.
do want to add, like, you can take advantage of projects and send people technically to this page if you want. So, for example, if you have multiple shots for Dinnerly, you can just keep it all under Dinnerly, Bible Squad, Red Bull. That way, it's all looks like you're already doing that. But imagine just having like this is like your case studies. Like that's another way you can organize it, just to kind of give clients more of a taste of each brand, more details.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, let's move on to the next one here.
All right, next one is Ash J. So this is his Behance portfolio work. So off the bat, I'm kind of seeing a variety of work, some illustrations, some logos, Photoshop work looks like it, just kind of showing just different things, UI kits. Definitely recommend just trying to keep it within maybe a certain more of what you want to do and more of what you specialize in, unless you specialize in everything really well. So that's also good, but I'll definitely add a little more to this if this is your main portfolio site that you send clients to, potential leads. So
Yeah,
there's just
making those thumbnails more interesting to click into as well, because like this was the only one that really caught my attention. But it also is so different from the rest of the work that you did, and I can see there's multiple team members. So I don't know what you did on this project, and so that's where it'd be cool to go back and increase the quality and the kind of attention to the thumbnails and make those more interesting. And I think match up with this one because this is definitely the best item in the portfolio here.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and same here. I'm a little confused on what part of this you worked on. Is it just like the website and the app itself, or is it the illustrations? Is it some video work? So there is some. I think the text around can kind of talk more about what your part of the project was.
Yeah, I think this is one too where I had to go all the way down here to understand what this project was, and it's just a case study for practice. But like I didn't understand, like I don't know what you guys did on this. Like, did you create the characters? Or are you just using graphics from the show? And like
Yeah,
again, it's really unclear. So it all looks really good, but I don't get what you did.
and I would move this up. Like I think this is pretty strong, like this section here, because I think now I'm kind of figuring out. Okay, you worked on the interface. There's some animation, some interaction work that was put into this, and maybe potentially some characters because you mentioned character detail. So perhaps that's a little bit some of the character work.
But I'm guessing because this is just a practice case study
Yeah.
that it's utilizing the graphics from the show and they put it in that UI display.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this looks like just a bunch of logos that you've worked on, which are pretty clean. I like the black and white presentation. I think it makes it look very clean and kind of fresh. Just a lot of focus on the brand, on the logos, but yeah, just not seeing a whole lot of variety here either. Just a few good ones, and maybe that's where. Okay, so I see a date here. These are older ones. So
But
newer ones on top, I'm guessing.
yeah, and again here going back to like I want some context for these logos because I'm just seeing a mark. I have no idea what cluster is, what it's for, how it's utilized. So to me, these are just kind of like icons. I don't get to see how it's put together in a brand yet.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, and then just a lot of UI work, which is nice to see this. I'm getting an idea of what type of work you're doing here. A lot of interface work, an admin app. I think presenting this, I think overall was good presentation. Some of this feels repetitive, but I see what you're doing here. Maybe there's a more interesting way to present this. But overall, I see there's a lot of work that went into this. So,
Maybe
um,
ending with final results. Like it kind
yeah,
of feels unfinished ending on the wireframe.
yeah, good point. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, let's jump on to the next person here.
Okay.
Oh, Ash, we got you in chat. Nice to see you.
All right, cool. So, Mercan, I'll do my best here. I'm not gonna try the last name. So okay. So looking through the portfolio, dribble portfolio, just off the bat, looks good. I like this illustration, although it doesn't feel to fit with the first work that I see here.
That might just be one of the defaults. I don't know.
Oh, dribbles default. Okay. Yeah, you might be right, Peter.
In which case, good job, Raji.
Yeah, this is great. I think overall, I feel like a lot of this just pops out at you. A lot of colors. I see a lot of different varieties from animation to illustrations. They kind of belong together. I feel like the style they work well together, and looks like some older work here towards the end.
The one thing I might say is just like if you go to the very bottom again,
Yep.
if you're a pro member on Dribble, you get this opportunity to set some shots to low profile. So it doesn't delete them, it just kind of takes them out of the main profile. And what I would say here is primarily the Spider-Man one, the blocks UI, and kind of that like cross at the bottom. I feel like these are a little bit weaker in comparison to the other work. And so like those kind of shots, I might just switch to low profile because what you're kind of going for when people glance at your body of work is what's the overall impression. And when I'm at the top, I feel like we're in that like 8 to 10 range. And then if I come down to the bottom, it drops off a little bit. So anything that you feel like you set your minimum score. I don't want anything in my portfolio below like a 7 or an 8. And you just start hiding or removing those older projects. Again, just something we tend to do. I do every 6 to 12 months. Um, you're always growing and getting better. So put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and I love the screens here. They look very nice. Just good overall design. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add to any of this.
Yeah, looks good.
I mean, yeah, overall, a lot of just good design overall. So good use of empty space and color and composition. So
Cool. All
cool.
right, well, let's jump to Mike, and then we'll pass it over to Eddie.
All right, Mike Jones. So I don't know. There's too much. There's too much awesomeness here. So I don't know if I can critique this. but but yeah, I think Mike Jones. We all know him pretty well. Shout out to Mike Jones. Uh, and he does a lot of branding work, a lot of illustration work too. So overall, I've always admired his style, and just his sketches are just mind blowing. If you haven't seen it or if you don't follow him, be sure to check him out. Um, but yeah, as for portfolio critique, I mean, looks like this is going to his playbook from
Mhm.
Dribble. Dribble offers a playbook link that you can customize and create like a portfolio link. Um,
I like
and
the domain name.
Yeah.
yeah, up next. So there's a lot of good stuff here for sure. Again, you kind of have a feel of what type of work you're gonna get as a client,
I
and
love the
probably
shots here of like the vector breakout and like the notes of, all the things that he wants to tweak or change. Again, just it shows the work that goes into it and, the detail of those projects. I think that's really great. And if you go down a little bit more, David, there was another one. Oh, going back to like, keep going. It's the real thread, or not real thread, real tree. So like this item over here with the patch and the hat.
Yep.
Like again, getting to see this, talking about if he had just posted this vector, it'd be like, okay, cool, this is really nice and clean. But now you get to see it like patched on the hat and whatnot. Like it just gives a whole nother dimension and depth to it, and it really makes the work obviously feel real. It is real, but it just takes it to that next level. So anytime that you can either make these mock-ups or turn your products into a real thing, I know I've done Printful.com. You can order like 5 test products a month, and sometimes I've done that for clients before where I've just gone and printed like a one-off hat or a one-off shirt with a marker logo, and maybe we've taken a photo of that and use that in a portfolio or something. Again, you can get that done for like $20, and now have a real life application to utilize. Just a cool little hack. All right. Good to see you, Mike. All right, awesome. Well, Eddie, do you have a couple pulled up and we can switch over to your screen?
Yeah, I can pull some up.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can...
You have the Monday board.
Yeah.
Yeah, just click the third one on each category.
Share. Okay, let's see. See if I can share the right screen. You guys can see it.
Yep, we see it.
Well, hide the left side if you would.
Yep.
I know everyone can just pause and watch this later, but try to keep that hidden.
All right. Third one, you're saying?
Yeah, let's pull up the third. So the
with
link's
junior.
there on the right.
We got a branding person here. Ooh.
Ooh means good.
ooh for a junior level, I think it's pretty impressive so far. Like at the first glance, these pieces look pretty polished. Some of them I feel like I've seen.
Yeah, that one I'm gonna mention something about that after. But in short, be a little careful with pulling inspiration from stuff. This is actually just a combination of 2 different logos of ours, and I know you mentioned that in the comment, but like you could hear Eddie's kind of stuttering of like, hang on, wait, I recognize this. Be really careful, really, and by really careful, like I mean don't do it, because now, like I personally would start looking at this portfolio and go, is anything else here kind of borrowed or built off of something else? And so I really want to see what's truly yours. So I can appreciate building off of this, and I think that's a good way to practice. Be really careful posting work that is built from something from somebody else.
Can you open one up, Eddie? Just draw.
Yeah, overall they all feel very polished, and this I'm thinking of what's his name, Ben, the branding guy.
Ben Stafford.
No.
Damien.
No. I can't think of his last name.
I know who you're talking about, but yeah, I can't.
Yep.
Let me see if I can find it while you're looking. Yep.
Yeah. So it instantly reminds me of his work. I like the grids and how you think about like the building the marks, because it looks like it's mainly branding work. See, like this is probably inspired by yoga. Because I know the artists, like this one.
Hey, is it Jeroen?
Yeah.
Jeroen. Yep.
Jer.
Yeah. OEN.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jeroen. That's what I was thinking. So I guess some of the older work, the presentations like really remind me of, which is, it's not a bad thing to be inspired and
yeah, of course,
borrow ideas, but yeah, try to make them feel more unique, like bring more of your own twist to it. But overall looks very good for junior level, I guess. Good stuff. very eye-catchy.
Yeah, and I would add either collections or attachments to some of these, just so people can kind of dive a little deeper.
Yeah, you have
Feel
one
free to use
collection.
mock-ups, either mock-ups or other items. So
Mhm.
that would help.
This looks familiar too. No, this is your collection, which it's a good thing. All right, let's see. Good stuff overall.
Yeah,
Good
cool.
job.
Let's
Yep.
jump into another one.
Next one.
And while you're pulling that up, there was one in there like Foxify or something that I felt like didn't gel with the others. So like that's one that I would pull out and maybe, again, just showcase the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, you can also sort them by whatever you want your visitors to see first. So all of a sudden, these feel very unique. Each one has its own feel and voice, almost like these are. I can tell these are more of the built-out brands here, and I haven't even clicked any of them, but I can tell there was a lot of thought involved into building these. Very nice work on communicating your ideas via motion. See some mock-ups that also that's some feedback for our previous portfolio. That's always a good idea to show your clients how it would perform in your design would perform in real life scenarios. So really good work here.
Maybe just pull that logo in a little bit more so it's not kind of hugging the walls as much.
Oh yeah. So yeah, constructive. Yeah, this is definitely would be a good move, or maybe you lose the border.
And if you go to the top, Eddie, I feel like having those two logos really big, just redundant, go up more.
Yep.
Yeah,
just
the other
invert it.
two big logos. So maybe just cleaning that up a little bit, maybe adding different variations of it or something below that.
Yeah, maybe like a side by side or something.
For sure. And also like maybe like since the whole logo has this like soft feel, maybe like if you're building out these mock-ups, maybe you can find mock-up with like rounded corners, so kind of follows, makes you feel makes your brand feel consistent. Good
Looks
stuff.
good,
Let's see something else.
Another one, yeah. The socks. I knew you were going to play socks.
I like socks. I like custom socks. These are super cool.
I wish there was a picture of you wearing some.
How do we not have custom watermelon socks yet?
I know, right?
We got to get that up in the shop.
Can I buy these? If you could reply, if you're watching us. These are awesome.
I wonder if those are mock-ups. I think they're mock-ups, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if these are mock-ups. Look very real.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I would definitely, if they're not, if you have them like at your house, I mean, put them on and take some real life photos of some of them.
Hey, yeah, we'll drop a link in the video so people can get their hands on them or feet on them. Oh, this is really cool. I'm not sure if it's. I'm not sure if it's our.
Oh, these are cool.
This is a super cool, very creative way.
Oh, watermelon.
There we go.
We need a sock of that.
So. I wish these were like. This would be W for watermelon. Like this would be a dog for D. I don't know.
Yeah.
But overall, really creative ideas and good stuff.
Looks like some of them were like the zebra and the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Z.
I love the creativity of this. I mean, having these like little warm-up exercises and whatnot, it really helps you think outside the box and expand the ideas of things that you might want to play around and explore with. Looks like some French fries there for F.
Well, yeah, airplane for A. I guess I was focusing on the palm trees, not the background. So I guess if you wanted to do like make your main object more prominent, if you want your people to focus on something, P for paint. I guess they do mention. I guess my bad.
Well, yeah, it seems
like
some.
Yeah.
Some. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Good stuff overall.
Awesome. All right. Do we have one more? Yeah.
Let's do the next one. So
Looks like Anand, yeah.
None. Okay, that looks like I might have to pull David in here because I'm not a big fan of numbers and copy. I mean, the work looks good from the first glance. I get very frustrated when I start working on like dashboards and anything with more than one button.
Well, open a few of them up and let's see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Looks like there's no collections. It's just yeah. So off the bat, yeah, I would definitely add some more attachments to some of these shots just to drill more into the detail.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, showing a night, like a night mode, dark mode,
Dark
and
mode,
a
night
night
mode.
mode. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yep.
It's been a popular thing to do. Yep.
I mean, everything looks pretty organized and easy to move around, navigate overall. So
Yeah, I think these are one of the ones where I think the more you can show as well is really good, because a lot of times when we see stuff like this, there's always that question of like, is this a real project? Is this just something for dribble? And so being able to showcase this is kind of going back to a conversation we had like 2 hours ago in a different group call, but like I want to see how the things are used and what problems are being solved. And so I think the more you can post of these items is going to be really helpful to showcase like what is the user experience of these things, because design wise this all looks really clean. I'm getting a clear indicator of what is at these various dashboards and whatnot. So it seems like you're also creating some of these for usable templates, which is super cool. So just getting more into the weeds of that, showcasing the functionalities of these things. I think that would be really cool to see in your presentation and animations, beyond just like a light mode or dark mode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess using the additional screenshot. I'm not sure if it was all of these like look low res to me. I don't know if it was before Dribble added.
Well, I like that
1600 by 12.
there was a demo on that one. There was a demo on that one, so it was
Yeah.
nice to actually interact and see
See,
it.
this is an older shot. I mean, fairly recent. I know they already had 16 by 1200, but it's still like, this is not Retina.
Yeah.
This is the highest. So try to upload crispier images, I'd recommend.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, the work looks really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you off the bat know what you specialize in and like the type of work you do. So
Yeah,
and it's really good.
Set that expectation.
Yeah, and it seems like you're doing a lot of stuff that's sold on marketplaces. So I'm assuming there's probably some stuff here on like UI8, or you are selling these as as templates. So
market. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. That's a super big challenge too for anyone that's not done that before, to create template files like this that have to be customized and edited in any possible way. It's a lot of work because you have to design for like every kind of use case and situation, not solely just here's the color palette or here's the text that I have in my use case. It has to work for everything. It's a ton of work. So hats off to taking the time to do that. And this all looks really good.
For sure.
Yeah, I also want to say like some of this stuff you can kind of screen share or screen record some of this interactions and like the graphs loading up and adding that to Dribble like as a Dribble shot would be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, let's pull up another one or two. We do have a hard cutoff here at 1 for another call, but if there's also any questions that you guys have in chat, let us know. We'll try to answer those here in the last couple of minutes. And then, like I said, I know we've got a ton more portfolios to review, so hopefully we'll be doing a couple more of these streams upcoming, and we'll try to do them as soon as possible since it's really relevant to things that are going on right now. But maybe let's see, it looks like Vic dropped off. Let me jump in and drive one or two more. So we've got, let's see, let's start back at the bottom here. Did we do this one? Yeah, we did that one. Oh, yeah. Let me switch that back so you guys can still see where I'm at. Cool, there we go. All right, so let's do this one here. I think we did Jacob, Vladimir, and Shimon. Okay, we got 8 minutes. Let's go. And if you have any questions, let us know. Maybe while I'm pulling these up, Eddie or Dave, you guys want to answer, how did you guys start designing?
Eddie, you want to go first?
How did I start designing? I've been always a designer since childhood, drawing, doodling on paper. And yeah, I still doodle today. Never stopped.
Habitual
Yeah,
doodler?
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
I guess I'm
when
in similar boat. I did a lot of doodling as a kid, and then I was always into art. And then when I met Eddie, this was how long ago? 20 years ago, 18 years ago.
yeah, it's been a minute.
He inspired me to go more into like the digital design. He did some like early Photoshop work, and I was intrigued. And then in school, they actually had the very first digital design class. I mean, that was, I don't know, 2003, two. So it was early 2000s, and that's when like it just I really loved it, the idea that you can do things digitally and do like it was just amazing. And so after that, it just kept going and really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. For me, I joined the army and then got hurt and decided I was making websites on the side and realized I made more money doing these super amateur freelance websites that was super unprofessional at the time than I did like being a manager at a gym, and decided to go to school for it and started focusing on UI UX work and made that my specialization. Something I really encourage you guys do. Don't try to be a jack of all trades, master of none. Find something that you like, and that's how we operate our team. Is everybody on the team is a specialist in something. So it really helps, and it helps your work be nice and focused. All right, cool. So let's jump in here. See some illustrations here for, looks like Women's Day. I don't understand the presentation of this because I just feel like I'm seeing the same thing repeated a ton of times.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. Yeah, I would just work on the presentation for this. This kind of loses me really quickly because I don't get it. So I don't know what else to say there. I would work on that. The illustration looks really good. Let's see, time trave. So one thing here, just make sure, use spelling checkers and whatnot, so that way we're ensuring that all this stuff is dialed in. Again, don't want to look for mistakes in stuff. So mood board. Oh, this is add to mood board. Okay. Oh no, this is your mood board. Okay, so I like the flow. I feel like the presentation here, I think I'm going to kind of skip into somebody else. I feel you need to work on the presentation a lot. The work itself looks clean, but the way that it's being presented is really losing me and confusing me
Yeah.
because I don't get what it is this is for. I'm seeing the same things over and over again, and even though the work is clean, like I'm losing interest in wanting to check out more and finding out more about the project and the other things. So I would really dial that aspect in. Okay, cool. Let's see. And we've got Volodymyr here, previously at Binance. Okay, cool. Let's see. I think overall here the work is nice. The presentation on some of these, like the colors, maybe if we go to Dribble, but it feels kind of tight, and I don't know. This to me feels a little like alarming. I'd love to soften some of these up, have it be a little bit more inviting. Again, working on the presentation, like this is clean, but at first glance, like projects like this and here, this pulls me in more. Like this is really cool to see the breakdown, but I'd love to get a little bit more cohesive in some of these. It feels like almost like different designers have created some of these different projects. I'd like to see it be a little bit more cohesive. And so that might be something that I would work on here. And James, unfortunately, we're going to run out of time today, but we'll make sure that if you're on that list, you'll probably be in the next stream. So we'll help you out with that. And then Huzzah here. Again, this is kind of like Dennis's work. I feel like it's really
Yeah.
clean. I'd love to see it in a little bit more of application, and making sure that some of these colors, like they're really harsh, I feel like, and obviously would have some accessibility issues.
And
So
when you
just
print it, you got to be careful when you print stuff too. Like if you got to keep that in mind. If some companies are more digital and they don't worry about printing as much, but if you create a brand for a company using the wrong, like something that's not printable, like a blue, is going to turn out gray, or that green might get really muddy when you print. So always be sure to check like CMYK colors as well when you're choosing colors, and if
yeah,
that's important.
definitely. But yeah, I mean, overall, nice work here. I'd say just keep it up and again, show some more like how do these things apply to something? Because right now this is just a diamond with, I don't know, a bow tie or something like that, lightning bolt. Um, I want to see how it's used, and that would tell me a lot more. But with that, let's take one more question, and then like I said, fortunately, I have a hard stop today for another call, but we wanted to get this going as quickly as possible. We'd be doing more streams, but one of the questions here was, have any of us gone to design college? Folks are pushing you to go to college, and you're not sure if it's really needed. Um, you guys want to jump in there first?
Um, yeah, I guess I can start. I did not go to college. I'm self-taught, other than in school, high school, and then after high school, I took like a technical institute where I took all their courses. And then throughout the last decade, I've just been taking courses, learning online. There's so many sources online, from Skillshare to School of Motion to, I mean, you name it, that's there. So I feel like you can get to that level if you're dedicated enough and you really try.
Yeah, I have a pretty similar story as well. I never really kind of followed along with like standard your default system or where you go to college and get your education. Just mainly being passionate about what I do and like learning as much as I can. And there's a ton of sources. You can even watch people like us right now and get some ideas too. But yeah, just keep going at it, be consistent.
Yeah, I think to summarize it, like the amount of time and money that you spend on college, if you apply that to yourself, like like and follow through with it, I think you can be way ahead. So, but that's obviously going to school isn't bad either. It just takes longer.
Yeah, well, and another thing, another benefit. I mean, it's not a benefit. It's always a good idea to get the education. I'm not. I have nothing against it, but
Yep.
like with the way things are progressing and with the way things moving in this digital field, like by the time books get printed on what we like learning today, and the tools we're using and the techniques we're using, it becomes already so old. So we just try to
Outdated.
stay on top of things. So just by being connected with like-minded individuals and companies.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let me actually, we might be able to extend the stream. Let me find out. Um, yeah, I ended up, I actually went to design school. I liked it in that, like, I already had my AA, and so I was able to go in and just take like 1 year. It was called professional designation program, and it was kind of like fast tracked. I didn't have to take anything but design courses. I really liked that. Um, at the same time, it was a complete waste of money. I had some classes that were literally um, just like my professors read off of free online tutorials. And I paid a lot of money to go to school, and I petitioned it. I was like super upset about it. And really the most that I've learned have been from post school. Like anything I learned in school, I could have just read online somewhere or watched on YouTube or whatnot. I think for certain people and certain personalities, going to school is more helpful. Maybe you're somebody that just can't be self-taught, or like you need somebody to like handhold, but that sounds bad in that like it sounds lazy or something. That's not what I mean. But if you need somebody to directly give you answers and help with these questions and whatnot, then absolutely, having that ability to be there and be physically in school. Some are better than others. I wasn't too happy with what I got for the value of what I paid for my education. Honestly, I've learned a lot more working alongside like Eddie and David and the team here and past jobs. That's where I really grew and became a better designer. I felt like school taught me more of just the mechanics of like how to use the pen tool in Illustrator or how to use the programs. It didn't teach me to be a designer. So again, I know that that very much depends on where you go and stuff like that, but just something to consider. Also, David and Eddie, you guys are welcome to stay on, or if you want to drop off. Um, our consulting call that we had is having some technical issues due to a computer stopping to work, so I can stick around for a little bit and do some more portfolios. If you guys would like to stay on and stay, by all means do, but if you have to hop off to anything else, but with that, we can answer some more questions and we can do some more portfolio reviews. So I know James was looking for a review and he was on the stream, so let's do it. So yeah, wait for schedules to work out. Let's take a look here. So okay, we did these. Let me mark this. So we've got Jao or James who is in chat. Let's make sure that he's reviewed. We did this one. Or actually, since I did the last round, David or Eddie, any of you guys want to do the driver's seat on this next round?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I can take over.
All right, cool. Let's grab Jao and I'll try to check mark everybody that's been done.
In which category, Peter?
I just grab the next one from each of them. And then I'll try to add some more to the list here. Maybe we can get a couple more done.
Okay, so did we do Haza?
Yes, we did. So go down to Rahul, and I think we did everybody in the mid-level. I didn't get to finish bringing over some additional folks before the call, but we can do a couple more of these.
Sure, yeah. All right. We did Shaman, I think, right?
Yep.
Do we have James in here? Or?
Yeah, James was in here at least before.
All right, so Rahul or Raul, checking out the dribble chart now. You guys see my screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so going through the dribble page here, just kind of getting instant.
I can't read the first one. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think overall, I'm getting a sense of what you do here. Looks like a mix of illustration, branding, and a little bit of UI going on. Not a whole lot. I think definitely keep adding to your portfolio as you go. But let's see here. Let's just, and looks like none of them have any attachments, or at least no collections. Yeah, so, oh, there we go. So it links to your Behance portfolio. So let's quickly hop over here. Okay, so yeah, it seems like the same kind of work, but let's see if we can get more, more type of work. There we go. So I would definitely put some of this on Dribble too, like some of these mock-ups, some of these shots that you have going on.
It looks like your illustration is your stronger side, so I'd probably invest more time into building out your skill, like that yellow blob illustration.
Yeah, getting a little bit more focused on like the type of work that you share.
Yeah.
A little animation, parallax going on.
And also, if you're in the live chat and you submitted anything in the forum, just give me a shout out. I'm trying to pull up a couple more portfolios of folks that I know are here and tuning in. So let me know. I've got Joseph Melancon. I saw Jason Kirtley, and a few others. So if you're here, just give me a shout out. I'm gonna try to find you.
Okay. Yeah, I think overall, just add a little more to your, if this is what you're sharing with leads and clients, just add a little more to it. Just more variety. And like Eddie said, maybe just a little more illustrations, depending on what type of work you enjoy and what kind you want to receive. So cool.
Yeah,
Moving on to the next one. So Mahe. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Mahe.
I like the greeting in every language. It's cool.
I mean, this is great work off the bat. I think it feels fresh. It feels, it has variety. I feel like it's all pretty similar to each other. Which it could mean that you're exploring different. Looks like these belong together, different iterations of that logo concept. But I feel like there's similar, like your style is consistent overall. This one's kind of standing out to me. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful animation too. Very nice.
Ooh, yeah.
That's very nice. Yeah. This is really good work. Solid work there. Definitely I'll throw more, if you can throw in more of that kind of stuff, that helps a lot. Yeah, just really good work overall. You know what? I think, I've seen a lot of this already. So I think this is, if I'm not following you now, I'm following you. So, because I've definitely seen the unicorn. So
yeah, unicorn looks familiar.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, everything's just so good. Oh, okay. So he's working with these guys here, Jarwin and Vadim.
Cool. Okay, doing some of the animations for those. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But just solid work. Yeah, this is good. I would change this profile picture. It doesn't match what you do at all. So that I don't know if that's a default Dribbble screenshot. If not, then yeah, probably adjust that because I don't see any of that kind of work in your portfolio. So maybe even a variety of thumbnails you can throw in here, or whatever shot you want to showcase, and switch it around. Anything else on this, guys?
No, it's good.
Yeah, really clean stuff. I think there's another one where, kind of similar to when we were talking about Peter Tarka's work. It all feels very cohesive and similar. So if I were to hire you, I know like what I would expect, and I'm getting a feeling for the output of work. And I think that's really important to have a strong portfolio like that where it gives people confidence in what you're going to produce for them. If your portfolio is really kind of disorganized or all over the place, you're like uncertain of, can you do this thing for me? Like, what am I going to get? Where it's really easy to say, well, you're going to get something along these lines. Like, this is my style. This is what I produce. It's really helpful.
Okay.
All right, cool.
On to the next one.
Oh yeah, this one was really clean. I remember looking at this before.
Okay. Can you help me pronounce this one, Peter?
I was going with Zhao.
Zhao.
We apologize. We're trying. Forgive us.
Yeah. I like that your photo is here. That's different. I haven't seen that before. I think that's.
I have my photo. Come on.
Real photo. So that's kind of interesting. You know, have,
cool.
like a portrait of yourself there or a photo of yourself.
I think that's what it should be.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's a new trend we should set.
Oh, and the background overlay. Hey.
Oh, this thing. Yeah.
That was, dude.
That was. Yeah.
My first thought. That's how I did it.
Yeah. If we go to the Unfold page, we can see it there.
It works for us. We get away with it.
There we go. Oh no, you got rid of that. Or is that?
Oh, it was on my personal one. I did photo and overlay.
Oh, I follow you.
I don't know who stole it from who, but
all good.
It's all good, yeah.
Borrowing. Okay, so looking through your work, just kind of first glance, very professional, very modern. Love the mock-ups that you're using here, just overall. And I like that every brand has a character and personality. Like I know these are different, they're for two different companies, and this is for a whole nother company. So I like that they're professional, and somehow you're managing to like switch hats, so to speak, to work on each brand while maintaining like a very clean and professional vibe.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, looks like you don't have a lot of diving into here. This one's got a GIF. Yeah, I would show more like either motion or collections, like add more shots to each post.
Well, I
This
would
one,
say here too, like see what kind of posts do well. Like this one, you've only got 25 likes. It's clean work, but like it's not quite as like appealing. And as I'm looking at more, your work is really clean. So I kind of immediately went into this assuming you had more followers. And just because Dribble made this so freaking difficult, can you find out what his follower count is if you click into about? Okay, so right at about 800. Um, so what I would say is going back to the work itself is like to me I would assume like this top right shot over here is super clean. That first shot looks really good. Your package design, you know, this is where you need to experiment and post different types of things. But I would assume that these types of shots are going to do better for you than some of the others. So find out which ones those are and lean into that. And kind of like stepping back too, I feel like you have some types of work that are super, super clean. Everything here is overall good. Some are better than others. And so right now, especially as I keep scrolling, my first thought was that you were more of a brand and like a package designer. And then as I get through, I just see kind of everything, and it gives that feeling then of like the jack of all trades. And so I'd love to see this become a little bit more focused and showcase the type of work that you want to do. Um, I feel like even though a lot of us might say, well, I'll take anything that pays me, uh, ideally you probably want to lean into branding work or illustration or web. Each of us, we have our own passion. So whatever that thing is, lean into that because you're going to get hired for the kind of work that you show. And if you're showing the work that you don't want to necessarily do, like if it's UI work like this, stop showing it and double down on the others. So I would just refine your portfolio to be a little bit more targeted. And I find that you'll often get hired more for that specific thing where people might be a little reserved to work with you if they don't think you specialize in any one thing.
well said, Peter. Well said.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, Jason, I agree with you. I won't get into that.
All right. Anything
Um,
here, Peter?
yeah, so I've got a couple pulled up here on my end. Let me pull this screen onto mine. So I just kind of went through in the chat and grabbed some folks. So let me move them over here. We've got Jason, Ben. I found uh, Desislava and a couple more. We got Joseph Melancon in here. And then we'll try to pull up some more folks as well after this. So bear with us. We're doing this all on the fly. We thought we were done 15 minutes ago. We're still going. All right. So Ben Levermore, strategically creating logos and visual identity design systems. Cool. I know what you do, and I see that in your work here. And let me share my screen for you guys so you can follow along as well. Cool. All right, so really, really clean here. I think I would love, especially since you said here identity systems, I would love to see these more in action because these logos don't have a full meaning yet. Okay, there's two different colors. I think there's also a couple that, again, it's hard to say because I want to say some of your items are stronger than others. There's some, marks in here that I would love to see as well, larger portions. But I don't know how these work or what, like, I don't, I don't get this logo yet. So it's for something called Odyssey. It's a mobile app, but I think if I got to see how this gets used and implemented, this becomes a lot stronger. And I think one of the things that I would recommend checking out, like CGH agency, is it just cgh.com? Oh, I did this wrong. CGH. So a friend of ours, Mackie Saturday, who has since left CGH, he used to be one of the principals there. For example, he gave a off the cuff presentation at Creative South a couple years ago, and we had somebody drop out, and so he filled in for them as a speaker, gave an amazing talk with about 30 minutes notice, and he went over a lot of this case study for mobile. And this is a good example of when you see something, you're just like, cool, it's a clean logo mark, and whatnot, or like, here, it's a mark, it's a Pegasus. But when you get to see how this works as a system and all the different ways that this is implemented and utilized and whatnot, and I think he said they had like a 400-500 page deck of all the variations and in situation use cases for this brand, it really comes to life, and it becomes further than a brand. And if I'm not mistaken, the mobile branding was actually supposed to stop and be absorbed into, what is it, Mobile Exxon. But because the brand identity was so strong and there was such a recognition, it continued and lived on as its own. So I think that's where, again, we could say any of these things are equivalent to that Pegasus logo or mark, but once we see it built out, that's where it really comes to life and again is going to sell the client. So I feel like I get a sense that you can do clean work. I need to see these systems built out in more detail and depth. So that would be my biggest recommendation. And yes, Mackie is amazing. He's going to be back at Creative South. We did just have to push and reschedule to April 2021 because of everything going on. We'd love to see you guys out there and come meet Mackie. He's awesome. He's also teaching a workshop and all of that good stuff. So fantastic dude. All right, so Joseph Melancon goes under the name Lost Rest, and we see here some really cool illustration work. And maybe Eddie and Dave, you guys can jump into this one too, since this is more your wheelhouse.
Go for it, Eddie.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Is this all paper illustrations, I wonder? Because a lot of them feel they have this like natural.
Looks like it. The last one is
non-digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a very unique style. Like I really enjoy this kind of stuff. This looks like it was digital via some Photoshop brushes.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of Pablo's illustrations a little.
Yep.
Very good work. The website is very clean as well. Like the simplicity of it. So you have your simple navigation and like case study for each project.
Yeah. I think again, it's going back to if I was looking for an illustrator for a project or some editorial illustrations, I get a sense of your style and whatnot. Like, I'm a comics artist now. Okay, super cool. And I love your style. I feel like it has something that's fun and unique and kind of lighthearted in this. And I mean, honestly, I just want to see more stuff from you. I know I know Joseph, and we've been chatting a little bit, so I know he's working on revamping a lot of this stuff and getting himself out there more. And I think that's my best advice is just do more. Like, dude, I want to see a children's book from you. This is really fun and interesting, and you clearly have a lot of imagination with like the characters and stuff like this. My kids would love this. Cool. Like, really, man, like that's my challenge to you. Go make a children's book. I think you've got something in here that would be super fun. And I would encourage you to, like, right now, go live stream some stuff during all this. Maybe make a kid's book and share how you do that with people. I know that's really popular right now. My kids, every day we watch Mo Willems, who did the Piggy and Elephant books. and my daughter loves it, and she is so excited to call herself like an animator because he teaches her how to make a couple of things, and she's illustrating these and teaching us. And we actually, behind me, I've got like a ring light with a camera attachment, and she goes and makes you like, we don't post them, but she makes YouTube videos. She's 4, teaching people how to draw these things now. She is so excited and amped about it. So, use this time where people are home and want to learn things. It's why you all are here. Uh, Go reach out and market a little bit like that. It would be really cool. So,
Hey,
um,
Peter, Evan mentioned that he'd like to see like more application on some of these, like on a poster or website
yeah,
banner, etc. So, and I agree. I think a lot of that would really push it further.
yeah. I feel like right now, and this is where I want to encourage you to take it to that next step, is I feel like almost as shown, I feel like all your ideas are still stuck in these notebooks, and I want you to take them outside of the notebooks and start applying it to things. So I feel like that's your next step in your next journey, and I'm really excited to see more of that. Yeah, it'd be cool to see the shop have some stuff. Um, all right, cool. So let's jump in here. All right, this was somebody in chat, but it's not showing a name. Oh, maybe Abdul. I think Saeed Abdul. I think that's right. Okay, cool. So let's take a peek at this one. So this is for some telemarketing app. Okay.
Yeah, I like the presentation. Feels different, unique.
Yeah.
Wireframes.
I'd go a little gentler on these shadows. This is something I always bring up when I do reviews. I'm super nitpicky, but like the shadows can quickly get overused and can become a little too strong. So do it with intention or do it so it's really subtle, but this feels a little too much. And I'd love real content in here, not lorem ipsum. And the other thing I would say is I feel like this isn't usable. Um, and what I mean by that is I'm just picturing having a tablet in front of me. It's, maybe 8 to 11 inches in screen size, and I don't know that I could really work with and utilize a lot of this information. And if I zoom, oh, that's a whole thing. Like this text feels way too small. So I feel like my immediate reaction is I don't know if this is for a real project, and it was just something that got designed and then like kind of compacted and shrunk into a preview, because there's just no way that I could read this information and utilize this app as it's intended. So I don't know. It feels like a desktop app that got thrown into a tablet for presentation purposes, but I would be really careful of that kind of stuff. But overall, I mean, pretty clean. And then here, if we go to multiple owners, let's see if you have anything else in here. Cool. So Karnan,
Yeah,
same
this one
kind.
feels busy off the bat, like with that background.
Yeah, it's kind of distracting from the work, and like same kind of thing here. I can tell that this mock-up, like this wasn't designed for this mock-up because it's falling off the pages. So, and like same thing here, this icon is just floating in the area. So this is telling me that more than likely these were desktop screens or built for other size devices and then just put into different mocks. So, it's like as I'm looking at this, I'm trying to tell if this is even this project.
I think that's showing the user flow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Good little animation there.
Yeah,
That's
slow
good.
it down a little so we can see it more.
I think all the different angles are just throwing me off. Like you got a lot of different perspectives happening.
Yeah.
So maybe stick to one or two perspective and just keeping it more minimal and clean will make your work stand out more.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this one first because I know Jason's portfolio is, his work is awesome. So I want to end on that one. And then I think we'll kind of wrap this call up after about 90 minutes. And then if you guys, again, if we didn't go over your portfolio today, go ahead and submit again. We're going to do more of these streams. We'll probably do another one next Friday or two, and then I'll probably sprinkle some in throughout the week. And if more of the team can join, we will. But let's check this out. So let's see, a graphic designer who loves designing for both digital and print. Okay, let's maybe pull up a couple of these. Whoops. One thing I would say off the bat is just from a presentation standpoint, I feel like I get what these two projects are. I have no idea what I'm in for with these. So I'd love to see a little bit more of like a better preview relative to the project. Yeah, I get what this is going to be. We're going to see the calendar or something for a restaurant. This is going to be some kind of press kit. But as we come in here, I just don't know what I'm going to get. Okay, so some kind of salon. Looks pretty cool. Anything you guys have?
Maybe adding some text around the project description, like what
Yeah.
it is, what was involved, that kind of thing, the scope.
Yeah, maybe some of like the interior of the book as well. I feel like we're getting like a super high level kind of outside view of it, but not as detailed.
Scribbles.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. I don't get what this is. And I get that there's probably more of an artistic intention and flavor with all this, but like there's no description here. And
The color palettes are super cool though.
yeah, it's
Really
really
fun.
interesting. We just I don't know what to say about it, I guess, because we don't know, is this for like an art show or gallery piece?
It's when you work from home and the kids scribble on your work. That's how trends start.
Okay. This is really clean.
Great.
I like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
It's unique.
I like seeing, again, going back to like brand systems where we could say, oh, that's clean logo type and lockup, but now we see how you're utilizing these patterns in here. The one thing I will say though is it feels like, oh, I guess it's the same. I was wondering if the thicknesses were changing, but that looks really good. Really nice presentation on this.
Yeah, very clean presentation for sure.
Yeah.
And I love this palette too. Like the colors
Mhm.
are really solid.
Yeah, really nice.
Simple, but works.
I like this kind of stuff because it really like starts to draw you in of what this project is, what it entails. Is a great way to showcase a lot of different things. Okay. Oh, now I'm really hungry. Gosh, I haven't eaten lunch yet. It's dangerous. And I can't get food at the grocery stores. Killing me. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is super clean. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't done print work for years, and so it's kind of fun to just check out some really clean stuff. I don't know. On that point, I think that's where it's important. This actually went to another meeting we had earlier. We did an interview with Eddie in our community group this morning, and we're going to post that on YouTube. So if you guys want, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like, smash, whatever. Just kidding. But we're going to upload that interview here with Eddie, and we talk a little bit about his process and inspiration for stuff. And one of the things he mentioned is how he's just like constantly consuming information and like being inspired by different things. And I think that's something I've probably dropped the ball on a little bit as I've stepped more away from design in the last couple years. But like always absorbing different things and absorbing things outside of what you do. Even though like I'm a UI UX or product designer, it's really cool and you can be inspired by things that are print and tactile and whatnot. So don't just like pigeonhole into only the thing that you do. There's inspiration everywhere. And I think this is a good reminder of that. There's things that we can see in these in this photo that maybe make us inspired to build something else. Like, this is really cool. Yeah, really neat stuff. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right, before we get into Jason, because I know Jason's got some cool things, let's check chat here. Let's see. Ben sat here nodding in response to the feedback. I'm glad it helped, man. I really appreciate it. And let's see. James, I thought we pulled yours up. Is it under a different name by any chance? I'll try to find it here real quick.
Yeah.
And Sanel, I'm not sure when the next stream is going to be. We'll announce it. I'll take a look at the schedule.
I can shoot you a link, Peter.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll take a look at the schedule and calendar next week, and we'll get some more stuff queued up. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, all that nonsense. But really do that, and it'll at least alert you when we go live next time. And Saeed, yes, I wanted to answer your question. So when you use 18 point or 18 pixel for normal regular font, it looks normal on my LED screen. But when I use my laptop, same 8 pixel font looks much smaller as comparable to LED screen. I'm not sure on that one. It should be the same across, unless maybe the resolution that you have set is different. So like I use an ultra wide at, what is it, like 3440 by 1440 on my main monitor, but then my secondary monitor off to the side is 1920 by 1080. Maybe there's something going on with that. But I do recommend you guys all, let's see, okay, guidelines, and then also golden line height type. So there's a couple of things here that you should get familiar with. One is the golden ratio for type. I think this is pretty solid, but this is going to show you kind of what is recommended for some of your sizes. There's one that's better than this that like breaks it down to even like a fractional pixel, which I personally hate, but it's mathematically correct. But it really helps you understand kind of how to set up your H1s, H2s, etc. in that kind of golden ratio. Feels really right. It works really well with the vertical rhythm as well. And then the other is you should all get super familiar with the web accessibility standards. This is a lot to take in, and we'll probably do some like deep dives and videos and streams talking about this specifically, but this is super important. Covers everything from your type sizings to color contrast ratios, what types of icons to use, minimum size requirements, line thickness requirements, and all that for people that are visually impaired and whatnot. So this is really, really important stuff to know. And just on the text sizing, 16 pixel or 16 point font is the smallest you can go unless you do 14 point bold and meet accessibility standards. So if you fail those, you get knocked on a lot of different things with Google and search engines. It's a minimum deduction of like 5 or 10 points, as well as you can be sued if your website doesn't pass accessibility and your company or your client is over a certain size. So it's really, really important to know. And let's see, Eddie, did you send me his link? Is it the O2?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's do that one. And then we'll do Jason, and I think we'll wrap up for today after that, and then we'll do another stream. So make sure, subscribe, like. I feel so bad saying that every time. I feel so dirty. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. And yes, Jason, there's a plugin for Sketch and Figma, and I think for XD as well, that helps determine all of the golden line height stuff. So really, really important. Okay, so James, let's check this out. So one thing that to me is a little distracting, just kind of off the bat, I would pull your own branding off of all of these, because this isn't like a marketing or advertising site. It's just meant to showcase the work. And to me, I get sort of confused when I see this, but then there's a different logo and brand here. I've got some more things, but Eddie and Dave, anything you guys want to jump in on?
Yeah, I agree, Peter. With keeping the logo in there, like your personal or business logo, it does feel distracting because most people know it's already under your account, under your name, so they'll reference it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of slanted shots happening, especially early on top. So I think maybe having, I guess it's a mix, but it's more than, I guess, because the angles are a little off. If you scroll down, I feel like there's a lot of different angles happening.
Sure, it's not
Like,
consistent.
yeah, so maybe just thinking about that, how it looks as a whole as well, not
Yeah.
just focusing on one shot. Um, and yeah, I mean, other than that, the work looks pretty solid
Yeah,
overall.
I agree. I think the work is really good. It feels chaotic and distracting because of the presentation. Um, that like I don't know what to absorb first right now. And I know like this isn't a website, it's just Dribble and it's all mashed in there together, but it does feel like busier and I don't get to dive into the work as much.
And there's like a lot of iPhone or just mobile mock-ups. I
Hmm.
wonder if there's a way you can mix that up, just showing elements, or showing larger screens, or showing whatever else
Yeah,
you could to break
if,
it up a little.
if you go back to the list, Peter, and scroll down where you see that, yeah, like the reddish,
Hmm.
that one stands out to me
Yeah,
the most because of its simplicity.
Hmm.
And you know, like you want to click it because
it's red.
you can actually, you can actually, digest the data that's on
Hmm.
there versus like seeing a lot of the little tiny things, whether they're slanted or not, just keeping the presentation simple. Yeah, I'm not, I don't even know, like, if I want to like spend too much time like that, like looking through and finding good things here, because of the presentation, like
Hmm.
it kind of like throws me off a little. So if you can work on the simpler way to show your or work similar to this would be a good example.
Yeah.
Um, I
Also
think
here,
that would help out a lot.
this feels like an SEO hit of like mention all the applications like Sketch, XD, Photoshop, Figma. Like
Mm-hmm.
more than likely, all of these tools weren't used. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's just kind of distracting. I don't get to know like happy client. Like this isn't telling me much. I don't know that that's actually for a client or if it's just a case study work. But I
Mm-hmm.
think you hit something really important there where you're like, I don't know what to, I wouldn't jump in here and start looking for good things. This would probably lose your attention and you would just click out of it. The same way that we analyze or do stuff for clients where we say, hey, we don't want to overwhelm a user. We don't want to give them too much. We want to walk them through a path. I don't think that you're doing that here effectively in this presentation. And I would probably recommend that you take down some of these shots and like redo them to feel a little bit more maybe calm and cohesive because I'm with you. If I was being sent a ton of portfolios for like if we were hiring and we were analyzing people, I would honestly probably click out of this and I'm giving you that kind of like hard feedback in the hopes that this is helpful. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I do get overwhelmed and it's like I want to get out is the best way I
Yeah,
could describe that.
and the work is not bad. Like look at the two center shots.
Yeah.
The work is, it seems really good. It's just the presentation is so overwhelming.
Hmm.
I think you just using these few screens, just have a clean layout. You can get a lot more clicks via that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think I have a ton of work up on mine, but maybe I don't know. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, let's see. This is a top like 9, yearly shot kind of thing. But for the most part, trying to keep stuff simpler, more cohesive. Um, I know we've got some iconography here, but trying to keep things a little bit simpler. And again, it ideally isn't going to overwhelm as much. So just something to think about. I try to pair up shots too, where I post a couple from a project. I'll do like 2 to 4 shots from a particular project, and that grouping also helps the shots feel like they belong together and are a part of something. Whereas I'd say actually throwing myself under the bus, you see it here where there's a lot of different things happening and it feels busier than in that case. So just something to be careful of and watch. All right, cool. Let's move over here to Jason, and then as promised, we'll finally wrap this up. Anybody else, if we didn't get to you, we will work on it in a future stream. You know, and Desislava, hopefully I say that right. Thank you. Appreciate that the feedback was helpful to you, and excited to do more of these streams with you guys. Okay, cool. So Jason is one of my favorite designers. I've been watching his work for a long time. I've tried hiring him once or twice, but I really, really like his work and think he does some amazing stuff. So let's pull a couple of these up, and maybe a good breakdown here would be to say why some of this stuff works really well, because overall I think your work is really awesome. And guys, let me know if any of these projects like really call out to you, and I'll open up a few of those windows.
They all look good.
I know. Oh, this one was really cool. I remember this guy. All right, cool. We'll go through a couple of these then. So let's check these out. So I think one of the things that Jason does really well is a really interesting use of space and typography. You know, if we look at things, there's definitely some kind of grid system being used throughout these projects. There's a lot of open space, but it almost has like a mix of an editorial feel. And I'd be curious, Jason, to know like if you ever had a background in doing like editorial layouts or something like that, because I feel like I really get that from some of the work that you have. You know, keeping typography is just super clean and simple, but utilizing fantastic imagery with like really cool patterns and whatnot here. This stuff just really comes to life, and I think makes it super interesting.
I have some feedback on the previous shot.
Yeah.
Is that open?
Was it
I feel
this
like,
one?
Oh, no, the one before. Yeah, I feel like background is a little distracting here on this one, the particular one.
Like down here?
The work is super solid, obviously. No, the background of the presentation. Yeah, I feel like
the
it's
photos in the background. Yeah.
That's the only one thing that,
We had to find something to beat you up on.
yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to find something.
Yeah, I think this project you did for Rolling Stone is awesome. I remember looking at this one, like again, just seeing how this is utilized in all the different situations and scenarios, and you know, again, being able to showcase things here that work in different scenarios. Like I would personally, not necessarily in the portfolio, but I would also be really interested to see like, hey, how does this work on photography that is lighter? You know, is there something here that's built in the system where, you know, nowadays in development, you can recognize the lighter contrast and it would change, kind of do like a smart type change and go to a darker color palette? Is there some kind of gradient that has to get applied on top of these things? Stuff like that's always really interesting to know, because it can't really be predicted that, you know, the people that are going to input the graphics for this or the writers are always going to know and utilize graphics that are only like a darker background. That would be, you know, really interesting to see, but this just all is really cool, really clean. Everything feels open, even though there's like really a lot of content on this page. I think you've done a nice job with spreading stuff out to where it doesn't feel overwhelming, but I'm still getting access to a lot of things on, you know, a site like this that its whole purpose is to get content out there. I think it's really clean. Let's see this one too. Yeah, again, this is where I get this sense of like editorial design from you, because there's always interesting stuff in your designs in terms of how you lay stuff out, how you break up a lot of this content. You know, all of this could have just been tucked in over here, but by putting it on the right side, it makes it really unique, really interesting. It's keeping my attention throughout the page. really cool quote over here. This is really clean. I missed that show. Cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, all I can say there is nice job. Keep it up. The work is really awesome. Other than that, anything else you guys want to say right now before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right,
Same here.
cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm gonna switch back over to this view. Appreciate you all joining us today. Make sure to subscribe. We're gonna be doing we'll upload that video interview here with Eddie, hopefully today, if not maybe tomorrow. And you guys can check that out. And make sure to stay tuned. If we didn't get to your portfolio today, we'll get to you guys soon. Hopefully everybody is staying home and staying safe. Just stay healthy right now. It's really, really important. Definitely want to encourage you all to keep creating and building things out right now during this time. And, we'll all get through this together. So hang in there. And if you guys need anything, hit us up online and we'll catch you all on a stream here in the coming days. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
All right.
There, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Thanks.